Hello, beautiful people. Hello, how is everybody doing? Welcome to Conscious Champagne Chats number 8. Oh my God, we've already done 8 of these. I cannot believe it. I'm so committed. See, this is how I'm testing my consistency because I'm not very consistent. But this really works well for me because they're short and don't take a lot of preparation, and I love showing up here for you. All right. Hello. I can see the first people are hopping on. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from and what the weather is like for you. We've had really weird weather here in Germany. And have you heard about the I don't want to talk about the weather, but I seriously believe because of Corona, we have like this very strange weather. It's been so cold here. And now it's like all rainy again, and it's really weird. So, and have you seen Texas? It's like the coldest winter ever. Like, what's going on? It's very, the world is going crazy, you guys. Hey, Christina. So today, hey, Christy, we're going to talk about how to take control of your emotions. And I actually have a question for you, because when you hear that statement, taking control over your emotion, what do you think? Where does that take you? What's like your spontaneous, hey, Christine, lots of Christina, Christine, getting all confused. Like when we say take control over your emotions, what do you associate with that? What have you been taught? What is popping into your mind? And if you guys watch these on YouTube, when we put these up, make sure you subscribe and give us a thumbs up. And join us over here in the Mom Leadership Group on Facebook, because it's an awesome community. So when we hear take control over your emotions, what does it bring up? Let me know in the chat. Let me know, because it's very important for each of us to just do a check-in and see what do we associate with that? What do we really believe with that? Because as I'm going to explain over the next, not just today, but over the next couple of Conscious Champagne Chats that we're doing, it's like how emotions actually really control our lives, and we know so little about it. And so most of us have been taught, when we're saying take control over your emotions, we feel like we have to make sure we are not showing all the bad ones, like all the kind of bad behavior that nobody wants to see that are coming from emotions, especially anger, right? Anger and self-hatred and like being hateful, like a very, very strong emotions. And they usually end up in a behavior that we don't approve of, and that doesn't make us feel good. So all of us have been taught like taking control over our emotions to mean like don't feel the bad emotions, just strive to feel all the good emotions, basically, right? Strive to be good, strive to be a good human, strive to be a good boy, a good girl, and be a nice person, right? We want to be a nice person. But here's the thing: as a human, you're not one-dimensional. You're quite a multifaceted. You're like a very complicated operating being, right? I mean, if you just think about like how we even work and how we function, it's crazy. It's like that this whole thing works. It's crazy. And so emotions play a very, very important role. And emotions as such are actually neutral, you guys. They're energy in motion. They're just movements. And different emotions vibrate at different frequencies and at different kind of energy lengths. And so emotions are such a neutral. There are no good or bad emotions. Now, the feelings is what is kind of the physical manifestation of the emotion. And so the feeling is what we then associate as, or like call it anger and so on and so forth. And the intensity of the feeling is what is kind of bringing us out of control, because we've never learned how to deal with very intense feelings. And by the way, this doesn't only go for the negative ones. This also goes for the really good feelings. Like if you think about pleasure is a very intense and strong feeling, and it's almost like a sin, because it's so close. It's like pain and pleasure. To feel pain and pleasure are equally painful, so to speak, because they are very intense emotions. And so what we have to understand is that if we think we have to control our emotions, which most of us do because that's what we have been taught, like when our kids are overreacting to a situation, when they get really upset, what do we typically do? It's like, why are you getting so upset? There's no point getting so upset, right? But they can literally have a meltdown over their favorite pen breaking, right? And for us adults, it's like, why are you making such a big fuss about it? It's just a pen. But for them, it's like the end of the world. And because we have never learned as children to deal with the intensity of all sorts of different emotions, we don't know how to deal with our kids. And so we want to cut it off. We cut it off. What happens, unfortunately, is that as we grow into adulthood, we establish all these energetic holds, right? And so, because we don't know how to deal with our own feelings and our own stuff, we look at the other people to fill those holes for us. And what happens then is that our emotions actually trick us. They are really trick us because our emotions color our perception. And so they trick us into what we think is the truth, but it's not really the truth. It is just an interpretation based on how we are feeling. It is just an interpretation of the situation. And so the perception of things, of everything, is based on what we know. And what we know is what is familiar to us. So is a familiar feeling, is a familiar emotion. And because our emotions live inside of our body, and if you have one emotion over and over, your body literally gets addicted to that emotion and it needs to create that emotion. Because the way it works with the body and the mind is that your mind then, so let me break this down. I'm realizing I'm getting into my sciencey geeky language. So let's say one of your assumptions is, my son just never listens. He just never listens, right? I have to say it 5 times. He just never listens. So what you're feeling is frustration. You feel helpless, right? And so because you feel that, and because what you've seen is that he never listens, we declare that to be our truth, right? And so our feeling of helplessness in that moment, our feeling of frustration in that moment linked with him never listening is what declares that to be our truth. And what that does is it prevents you from the option that he actually could listen. And because you're so familiar with this experience that your son never listens, you are literally blocked, you're literally blind from seeing the potential that he could ever listen. Because that is so ingrained in you right now, and you're so used to that feeling that he never listens. And by the way, it doesn't even have to do with your son. It's like, if you think about it, we assume that our kids never listen, right? Like, that's what we do. Kids just don't listen. They don't listen. Right? And so we keep creating the same situation over and over, you guys. And because your brain loves to be right, it's going to scan the environment and go like, okay, where's the next situation that I will see my son not listening? Where can I find him not listening? Now, obviously, this doesn't quite happen as I'm saying, it's not playing in this scenario, but that's literally what's happening. So before you even know it, we've created another scenario where our kids don't listen because we cannot see beyond that. We cannot see beyond what is the obvious. Let me give you another example from work. So one of the things that I see at work is that we have quite a lot of women in top leadership positions, but these women are working crazy hours. So they're sending out emails at 7 a.m. in the morning, and they're still sending out emails at 10 p.m. So these new millennial moms, and I'm kind of borderline millennial mom, that come in are like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to send out an email at 7 a.m. and at 10 p.m. And if it means I have to do that in order to make it to the top, I don't want to do that. And so what they're feeling is all like you feel pretty much defeated, because what you're seeing is, I have to work crazy hours, I have to write emails, I have to be available like early on and late on during the day, and that's the only way I can ever make it up here. And so that's why so many women also give up, because they have declared that to be their truth. And the underlying emotion of, powerlessness, of feeling defeated, doesn't even allow them to look for another possibility. And so today, my task for you, or, I want you to challenge yourself and really see, where am I being blind? Could there be another option? Or do I declare what I'm seeing to be my truth? And I'm letting that lead me. Because that, you guys, makes you feel completely powerless. And feeling powerless and helpless is one of the worst, it's one of the best feelings to keep feeding into your anger, and into all the things when we blow up. And so we have to start realizing, where are we being led by our emotions, to see what is right there in front of us, but it might not be the truth. And it is just the truth because based on our past experiences, based on how we feel, we declare it to be the truth. And so this is why we fight. This is why we have arguments with our spouses, for example, right? This is why we have misunderstandings at work, because we come always from our perception, and our perception assumes that the other person feels the same thing. Of course I'm right? I'm right. There is no other way. It can be so strong that we're like, yeah, damn it, this is how it is. You know how it is. But I want you to really challenge yourself and start being open that there is always a different way, and there's always a different option. And one thing I'm going to continue with next week is, there is one magic letter in the alphabet that literally flipped this completely around for me and has helped me to grow my influencing skills at work, and has helped me to really get my kids to do what I want them to do. And not because I push it on them or force it on them, but because they're voluntarily collaborating. And that's when it comes from them. And it's just one tiny little shift. And it's one letter that can do the big trick for you. So next week, on Monday, we're going to continue with these. And you're so quiet today, guys. You're irritating me. Next Monday, we're going to start with the magic letter that can make that happen for you. So until then, my friends, have a wonderful weekend wherever you are. Let me know what you're planning to do, and I will see you back here on Monday. Take care.